with Treaty United manager Tommy Barrett. Tommy, on the eve of the start of another Electricity League First Division, must be plenty of excitement around the squad at this stage.
Yeah, the lads are looking forward to it. You know, decent pre-season, so you know, silly season as we call it. So we're hoping to get going now on Friday.
Compared to 12 months ago, really short run in, small number of friendlies. Do you feel you're in much better shape than you were 12 months ago at this stage?
Well, we lost seven. You know, we lost 7 players. You know, from that squad. So we replaced them. You know, we've got some good replacements. Unfortunately, you know, Denzel is probably a long-term injury, and the other lads, you know, that we replaced, the likes of Joe Gorman, you know, has come in for Anto. And Enda Curran, you know, we'll add to our strike force. You know, obviously we lost out Matt McKevitt. You know, Clyde O'Connell, you know, and Sean McSweeney. It's hard to replace those two boys from their physicality and their ability. You know, we got young Colin Conroy in. You know, we got Martin Coughlin in from Cove. Different types of players, but you know, they're good lads. You know. So they're, you know, and to keep a lot of what we had last year, if those lads kick on, we can, you know, we certainly have a good team out against Wexford and give it a good shot.
What's the nature of Denzel's injury, Tommy?
Yeah, it looks like he's going to need surgery. It looks like it's an ACL, so he could be out for practically the whole season. You know, so that's disappointing for him. Very
unfortunate, because he was a signing that supporters were getting very excited about. I'm sure the management team are excited about him coming as well.
Yeah, we were. You know, he was diagnosed initially by Shelbourne as a 6-week injury. When our physio looked at Barry Heffernan looked at it, he thought it was an ACL, and we confirmed last week that it was an ACL injury. In fairness to Shelbourne, you know, they acknowledged that straight away, and you know, they're looking after him for the surgery and stuff like that. So, you know, they've been very professional in their approach since. So, we thank them for that. The most important thing now is that he gets back, and you know, he's mentally right, and you know, he's healthy, and you know, he can focus on his work now, and he's college. You know, he's in college, and hopefully he can focus on that for this season, or the majority of the season. And if we can get him back a bit earlier towards the end, happy days.
So someone else who departed during the close season was Ty Ryan, who had a terrific season for you last year, and obviously you've moved to fill that number one berth. Yeah,
Jack Brady's come in. You know, Jack's a good signing for us. He's a really good lad. He's really good about the place. He's got great experience, so I'm happy to have him on board.
You know, a lot was made last year, and rightly so. The fact that how you managed to assemble a squad so quickly and hit the ground running in the league, in terms of fitness and sharpness and that cohesion in the squad. Do you think you're that bit ahead of where you were 12 months ago?
The boys came back fitter, you know, and they came back. Obviously, they weren't doing anything last year, so we had to push them really hard. I said we're after getting a few injuries now. We've a couple of more lads that are borderline, but I think that's happens with a lot of teams. You know, sometimes you're lucky, sometimes you're unlucky. And we're training on the Astro, and our lads aren't full time, so they don't have the time to recover. So you know, we have to train them hard. We have to push them hard as anyone else. We have to train, but this recovery time for a lot of us, a lot of the lads, they don't have it. So you know, we've had 4 or 5 injuries going into this week, but in general, yeah, the lads are definitely fitter and sharper. Yeah.
You probably surprised a lot of people last season, Tommy, with your performance making the playoffs. I suppose that element of surprise will be gone this year. Other teams maybe won't take it for granted if they did last year. Will that make it a little bit harder? You'll have to find a few different strings to your bow, really.
Yeah, you know, I think, look, we could end up playing better football and finishing a lot lower. You know, that's the reality of football. You know, it's you never know. Like again, you know, I know people are bored of me saying this, but you can't predict 1 week to the next how you're going to play in this league and who's going to beat who. So we're just focused on Wexford, and we like to maintain that focus all the time, just on our next session, our next game. You know, and I think, you know, that's the only way we can take it, because we haven't got the option to go out buying players or to, you know, like get in players and top professionals from England or Holland or whatever else the other lads are getting them from the Premier League, even, you know, the League of Ireland Premier League, you know, the likes of Wexford and have signed players from the Premier League. You know, the 3 or 4 lads that played in the Premier League last year. So we haven't got that option. So we have to, you know, really get players who want to be here, who want to play, who have careers outside of football, and their main careers are outside of football, or they're in college and they want to play at the highest level in the country. And we have to try, you know, compete with full-time teams and teams with bigger budgets. But certainly we will go into the season looking to compete in every game. But we won't be setting, you know, targets of playoffs or anything like that. You know, we're a long way off of thinking like that as a group and as a club. So we need to just focus on the Wexford game.
You've always maintained the need to get the off-field stuff right, the structures right, away from maybe the senior team. The announcement yesterday of Shane Keegan coming on board as the academy lead, I mean, he's an ambitious addition, isn't he, to your setup? Somebody who has huge amount of League of Ireland experience.
He has, you know, I was talking to Shane earlier about that, you know, and you know, he will be a good addition. I think, you know, he needs to drive the academy forward now, and I think he will. You know, I think he needs his support, obviously, and he'll get that support. You know, we're in the process of, you know, hopefully securing a partnership with an educational establishment, you know, and in the next while, if we can get that done and we can develop that partnership further and build our own facilities, and in conjunction with that establishment, that we can move forward and, you know, start producing our own players, and maybe in 5 or 6 or 7 years, and, you know, training 3 or 4 nights a week, you know, in a proper facility, strength and conditioning programs, all them things. It has improved this year, but we're a long way off yet, you know, of the likes of Bohemians and Shamrock Rovers and the likes of them, who are producing top players, and we need to get to that space. You know, even Sligo selling lads there recently, so we need to get there. And Galway, you know, the last number of years have produced senior internationals, you know, so we need to get to that place, and that will take time. It'll take facilities, it'll take significant investment, and, you know, when that comes, hopefully we can grow and get results through to the first team.
I suppose we're in a very different place this year compared to last year, when COVID and no supporters, etc. Having the fans back in from the start of the season at the Markets Field for the home games, I'm sure that's something you'll welcome, and hopefully will continue to attract good crowds as the season progresses.
Yeah, it's great. You know, the fans have been brilliant last year. You know, the support has been fantastic. As we said, particularly in the Markets Field, but we felt it as well, and, you know, even, you know, the energy created online and through social media, I think it was a huge positive. And there's a lot of negativity around social media these days, but I think from our point of view, it was very positive last year, and it was mainly positive interactions from supporters and fans, and there was a lot of goodwill gestures before even the crowds came back. So I think if we continue on that vein and that positive energy is there again this year, you know, we can certainly be competitive in most, if not all, games at home.
Finally, looking ahead to Friday, playing Wexford FC, you know, they finished down towards the bottom of the table last year, but their performances, maybe they didn't get the number of points on the board that their performances deserved week in and week out. It's a tricky opening game, isn't it?
Yeah, look, as you said, they've signed, you know, players from the Premier Division, especially the attacking wise, they're top quality, with likes of Jack Doherty, Conor Davis, Aaron Dobbs, you know, Diddy Corcoran. You know, they've a wealth of talent. You know, they've picked up lads in as well. You know, Farrell, I think, is still there. They've picked up lads from on loan from the likes of Shamrock Rovers and Bows and those places, those top teams. So they're going to be a really good team. And, you know, I think they'll feel like they can challenge this year. I think they've kind of stated that already. That's their intention. So, but look, like you said, we're not going to get carried away. We're focusing on Wexford, and, you know, hopefully it's a good game. We get a good result.